And hello again, students. Welcome back from spring break. I hope that this week was helpful for you. If not, to take a rest from school, take a rest from that structured routine that got you going for a good 8 weeks. We are back again, and for the latter half of the semester. Now, of course, for career counseling, we end on April 19th. That will be our last day. But the work is, we have about two more modules to go. And it might not sound like a lot, but as I've previewed before in Module 4, I hope you took the time to look ahead into the next module, this upcoming module, and we'll talk about it when we get there because there's a lot to cover in that instance. So let's go back to Module 4. I know it's been a long time and we lost an hour of sleep, so I don't really think it's unexpected if you are still reeling in from losing that time, losing that sleep, and wanting to forget about this class altogether. But we can finish strong. Module 4 was very short. We talked about the job marketplace. A lot of you have been able to just, you know, discuss about how job search nowadays are not how it was set up to be 20, 30 years ago, where we look for a job in the ad or become an apprentice for technical trades or whatnot. When applying for jobs, it's certainly a lot of them are what they call the hidden job market. You have to know people in the United States, especially. It is not just about merit. It's not just about. It's important that you keep up your grades, but it's not just about that anymore. You have to be able to make connections with others and being able to listen. If this person may not know of a job that fits you, perhaps he or she knows about another position or another place. Your job may not be where you want to be, and I know a lot of you are local from Birmingham and wish to practice here in the local Birmingham area. So how well do you know Birmingham? What are the counseling centers out there? What are the counseling positions out there? What does it take to become a private practitioner? What does it take to be practice in a nonprofit organization? For the others for that want to practice in organizational setting or even in medical settings such as hospitals, children's hospitals and pediatrics, elderly care and whatnot, those are all where you need to apply some of these skills. At the same time, you should be able to be familiar to tell clients about jobs are not as easily as looking up the ad and throwing your resume out there, throwing your cover letter, and you'll hear from someone. No. Going through that route, my first time, I had to wait 3 months before I heard back for an interview. And the time that I was spent waiting, I could have been using it to either look for other places, try to get networking done, or even just talk and listen for people who might be looking for someone like who needed an instructor or a counselor. Now, you being in a counseling position might give you a little bit of a unique position because we are not bound to just practicing talk therapy. I know a lot of you were probably thinking about marriage and family or mental health or school counseling, and those are your more traditional routes coming in through a counseling program. But we have many students who later on become head organizers of nonprofits or startup nonprofits, others who are part of something that doesn't sound like it's counseling related, but later on they applied those skills, those listening skills, those abilities to hear the needs for others and develop programs that fulfill those needs in the community, make a community impact. We have those who develop new ways of practicing counseling, such as play therapy, equine therapy, pet, not pet, I'm sorry, animal assisted therapy. So this takes some form of creativity, and by creativity, don't get me wrong, it's not just about arts, it's not just about colors, it's not just about music. The way you view the world is different than your neighbor. It's different than your family member, and you have those experiences along with the knowledge that you have, these base knowledge, and create something out of it, and that will be your strength. That will what makes you unique, and that's what you need to sell. It's tough. We want to be humble. We want to not talk of ourselves at times. I know I am, for one. Part of my introversion is not to be boastful, right? Not to be talking up like I'm this great counselor that you need me, or that I will make amazing things happen for you, because I'm scared. I don't know if I can follow through with those promises. At the same time, people who don't know you that well need to know what your strengths are. So there's a difference between being too prideful, being overly confident, versus those who are too humble. Those are too modest. We call them false modesty. You need to find that sober, objective way of assessing your own strengths and weaknesses and be able to present that. And the one thing that probably future employers want to hear is the potential for growth, the um, potential to learn about new ways of developing your ideas, developing the program, helping them grow. I know and that you need to apply some of the knowledge uh, based areas along with you. Sorry, I got distracted by something that just popped up. In any case, Module 4, the discussion brought out a lot of good topics to think about. And again, I want to reiterate, when you answer these discussion prompts, it's not a question and answer type of thing only. When you answer, make sure you facilitate a discussion by just copy and pasting what you read in there. It doesn't really necessarily help develop new ideas. It doesn't help foster something that your peers can respond to. Throw something in there that your personal experience may be what the textbooks say or what your readings say about it. Maybe it's different for a family member. Maybe it's different for a friend that you know of. Or maybe it's things that you didn't even think about or that you haven't considered until you read it in the text. So apply it as much as you can when you do your discussions. I think I've been a little lenient on providing the points, but just reading some of the discussion, sometimes I don't feel that it's generating much discussion points. But the responses are still great, though. I think a lot of you were able to look into what some of the mistakes are that people make in first time apply. One of the ones that I have personally experienced is taking the first job that's being offered. I always thought that I am the one that's under the microscope. I am the one that's under scrutiny, and that I should present myself in a way that fits. Well, part of it is true, but the other part is when we know that our trait and factor, our personality factors, all those come into play, our needs from the Anro theories come into play, we should also in turn interview this potential workplace about the environment, about the people in there. It could be the same job, but you're being considering two different positions. But are the people in there going to help you grow, or are you constantly in need of plugging in holes? How much is the turnover rate in each organization or company? Those are some questions not only for yourself to think about, but we need to engage our clients to think about, and not grab a hold of the first offer that's being thrown out there. Now, I know that in our current climate, we're not afforded to be picky. So at the same time, I think that there are plenty of opportunities of the same type of positions out there. And what the work you may be doing may be the same, but does it fit the environment fit you? Does the benefits, packages, the employee benefits, do they suit your needs for work-life balance? I understand that many of you want a work-life balance. What does that look like will be different for each of you. Some of you may think 75% work, 25% outside of work. That's great. Some of you need a 50-50. Some of you might want to negotiate a 45-55 type of deal. There's absolutely no way that your work will probably give you a 25% work and a 75% leisure. But are you able to be mobile? Do you have to be at the office? Questions you need to ask about taking time off. How does that affect your salary? Are you in danger of being replaced? or is it a replaceable position? How big is your how long has your superior been there? How long has people worked in the same place, in the same position? Are there mobility, upward mobility possibilities, promotions? Questions that you need to develop and think about for yourself. And then the same way you can help your clients to think about what are the factors they need to be start considering when they are looking for either a job change, a career change, and what are some of the obstacles that might be in the way. Most overwhelmingly, I think the obstacles for people changing careers is finances and time. Can I afford to take time off, not work, go to school, have to pay for school, while my family need to wait for me to graduate? And it can put some form of pressure. I think some of you could understand that. And what just thinking about needing to go to school while still providing for your family, how all that works together. Some of you are able to do so, and that really is, your superwoman, your superman to be able to handle all this, and you want to reward the patience of the loved ones of waiting for you to finish your degree in hopes of starting a career that both you enjoy and that can be in turn take care of you and your family members. So the last thing I want to touch on in module 4, of course, is your assignment. This was a fairly easy assignment, I would have to say. All you had to do was follow the template of a resume, what a resume looked like, what a cover letter looked like, and what the references look like. Majority of you are able to just present a very professional looking resume, and cover letter was well written. I do want to touch on the cover letter. I hear from some students that are wanting to understand why some points were taken off when they followed the cover letter template. Now, for one thing, I've been trying to review your resume, your cover letter, from the lens of an employer. And while the example is presented to you as something that you can use to model after, it shouldn't be something that you copy verbatim. Just reading some of the lines, an employer can tell this is a generic style of writing. Some of you did really well in just crafting and making the cover letter be more personable, be different, that it will catch an eye of an employer because you're not using a generic language. One that's like seeking opportunities to explore a career in your company. Well, that sort of tells me that you're not sure which positions are open. You're just wanting to apply here. So it's more like a cold call type of outreach. The other thing sounded to me where I felt it was generic was, and from that it's straight from the example cover letter that you all kind of modeled after, is I will reach out to you next week. Today's society, when you kind of tell them that, it's a little bit aggressive. It's beyond assertive at that point. It's a little aggressive telling them, I will reach out to you. Don't worry about it. I will let you know that, I don't think that works well today. I know it might work in a business type of setting, but if you are thinking in terms of counseling, and if the position's not even open and you're trying to just talk your way into it, more often than not, I don't think it might work. It's not to say it doesn't never work. Sometimes it works. But typically, in my experience, it has not been well received when you not only send a cold call type of cover letter, but also demanding for a appearance. Be humble in that, asking for, if possible, to stay connected, stay contacted. So those are some things I want you to think about. Assignments are there for you to, examples of assignments are there for you to model after. It's not for you to copy verbatim. And hope that helps. Hope that it helps you generate some understanding. I want to see some creativity. I know you can do it. You just need to put some effort into it. And I'm not trying to insinuate you didn't put any effort into it. But what my the thought is, I know you are capable of more than what was presented there. Um, so moving on, we are in module 5, and it is a monster of a module. As you can tell, we have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chapters to read, and a LeBeau article concerning workplace issues. If you look in your syllabus, you also know that module 6 says workplace issues. It should be lifestyle and wellness, so don't worry about that one. But for this one, we're looking into the different workplace issues that might appear. These chapters are a little shorter than your most, but it is still a lot of reading to do. But it's because it's related, they're all packaged into one. Unfortunately, I am not able to change this at this time, and changing it would require a discussion with the rest of the department, and so it might happen for the next group. But I can understand it's a lot, so that's why last time I urged you all to start reading, start doing some reading about these. Start reading these chapters. We are looking into multicultural issues, gender issues, LGBT and career issues, abilities and disabilities, transition, losses, career development, promotions, demotions, transfers. All those issues are packaged into this module. It's a heavy module, but all of these factors, not only do I want you to be familiar with them or what it's saying about our current society in terms of these workplace issues, but think in terms of your career project. What might your client be facing? What might your client be experiencing? What might someone be thinking about if they're going into a certain job or career that's traditionally more biased towards females or males? What is it? How does a client who may be struggling with a disability, whether it's physical or invisible kind of disability, like a traumatic brain injury, it's probably invisible because they're able-bodied. It's only the cognitive part that's not at the capacity of a typical adult. So it's invisible, and sometimes managers don't see that and they don't give concessions to those. Those are some things for you to kind of consider. What might your clients be facing? What might your clients be experiencing and not talking about because they feel that they could lose their job, or they feel that they might not be well received by their peers. Those are the things that I would like for you to delve into when you meet with your client for the second and third time, and include that in their final report. Just talking about any of these workplace issues that they might have experienced, that they could be experiencing in the future, or that they are currently experiencing, and how are they working through it. And this is a great time to employ some of your mental health counseling background into providing that unconditional positive regard, to listening to them, and perhaps even helping them reflect on ways to overcome, or at least ways for them to address these issues, so that it does not impair their ability to be successful at their work. So that's it for today's video. I hope you take some time to read the story. That will be up in the front page, and the LeBeau article will also be up right below this video or audio. Thank you so much, and any questions, please reach out to me. I am more than willing to help you succeed in this class, in this course, or in this program.